Welcome to the vodcast. We are live with Mr. Bob Andersen. Bob, how are you this afternoon?
Kelly, I'm doing awesome. Thanks for asking.
You were telling me that you've put on a suit just for me. I
I
feel,
did. I did. Well, I've been working with you and friends for 25 years. That's the least I can do.
well, you know what? I've seen you in a suit once or twice, but I have to say it's when I picture you these days, I don't picture you in a suit. It's more like you have Carhartts on or something like that is how I usually see you these days. Good
Well,
to
I
know you.
do. I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm doing the TV anchor. I've got jeans on underneath the coat, so
Well,
you're
that's good.
you're
I
half
have,
right.
yeah. I actually have sweatpants on, but they're black, so they match they match the rest of the rest of the outfit. So, Bob, you are, I think, the best networker I've ever met in my life, and I wanted to talk to you. You know, the economy is tough for people, and so they occasionally will come to me and say, "Hey, what can I do to make myself more um, attractive to the market?" And one thing I say is you should network. You should become as good at networking as you can and get out there. And I think some of us it's a challenge for, but people like you make it look like it's very second nature. So I guess my first question for you is, do you purposely do you purposely network, or is it just kind of your personality and it's what you do?
Yeah, good question. So, I would say that it's pretty natural for me. I was an only child, so I had to learn to find friends that would hang out with me. And I was fortunate. My mother was a school teacher, so it was always giving, helping, learning, educating. And my dad was a barber, and he owned his own chain. So I spent a lot of time in the barber shop, learned the gift of gab from him. So that's kind of what started it out for me. And then I spent 10 years in the staffing recruiting business and had 30 salespeople, 30 recruiters, and that's really where my network grew. Just the volume of people that I talked to, and I would meet and talk to anybody, simply because you can learn a lot in the people that you meet, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, you know what, you are great at you talk to anybody, and that includes when we're in a bar in northern Minnesota. You're always trying to help the old person get a drink at the end of the bar, or the little old lady cross the road. And so it's a very genuine thing for you. You have a lot of relationships with executives. Do you think the reason you have so many executives that trust you is because you are great at networking, or is it because you like to help? You're always trying to help people. What's the magic in maintaining, forming and maintaining these
Sure.
relationships with really smart, ambitious people?
That's a good question. I've been doing this for a long time. So the people that I went to college with or high school with, worked with, that's the levels that they're at today. So you just have to keep in touch with people, be genuine, be yourself. And I think the other is, if you have fun in what you're doing, it's kind of infectious and people enjoy that. And you're kind of the same way, right? I mean, you've got a good relationship at that level too, and these people they're not just your business partner, but they're friends because they like to hang out with you. They you have fun, right?
Yeah, I
And
think I think you
that's
end
what
up.
that's what they
Yeah,
want to do. At the end of the
I
day, they're stressed at their job, and make it fun.
Well, I think that as you get along in your career, you naturally align with people based on value systems. And so, the people that you end up having long term relationships with, it's really there's a value system there. There's a respect from both
Yeah,
sides.
yeah, definitely,
They know
definitely.
that you are, what they think you are, because they're so busy. So many people want to talk to them, um, and they have to decide who they're making time for. And so I
Sure,
think
sure. Yeah,
they
that's
want
the
to work
most.
with, they want to work with people who they trust and they share some common values with.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You have to build your brand, and that comes over time by doing what you said you're going to do time and time again. It's delivering, right? When they do come to you, they do give you an opportunity, even though you're not able to maybe help them out. You're at least giving them some ideas, giving them some, or give them a contact of somebody else that can do a better job and help them out. So, if you do the right thing, help people, it all comes around, right? It all kind of takes care of itself. But it's definitely respecting other, treating them the way that you want to be treated. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Well, I think
Pretty
it's
simple
tough for
stuff.
people. Yeah, you know what? I think for some people make it look easier than others. But I think one reason that I really respect your style, and I think a lot of people do business with you and hang out with you and are friends with you, is because you are always first looking to help versus trying
Right,
to make it about you. Um,
right. Do
and
more
that's a
listening
hard
than
thing.
more
Yeah, that's a
listening. Yeah, more
yeah.
listening than talking, which is hard to do sometimes. Right.
Yeah, but it's also hard to try to do what's right for the people around you in all circumstances when you maybe are giving away money or you're giving away business, or that's where you kind of the rubber meets the road. And that's also where when you do those things, it's when you start to build
Yeah.
reciprocal respect with people over a long period of time.
Yep. I agree. I mean, freebies, if you know somebody, they're out of a job and they'd fit with a good company. I do that all the time. It just connect people that way, right? And they remember that. Both people remember that. So,
Yeah.
um,
Do you have any advice for young people that maybe aren't naturally as good at networking? You know, is there a list you say here are some three things you should be doing?
yeah. Well, as Ted Lasso says, be curious, not judgmental. So that's a line from that series. I just love it. It just seems to fit. But yeah, I think you don't want to overwhelm people. You don't want to be too aggressive. I mean, you have to be a little careful. There's kind of a fine line there, because everybody and their brother is reaching out to these people, right? And their time is the most valuable thing they have. And so when you do get time, you have to provide value to what they want and what they need. So I think that's important. Just you have to be careful. I mean, you maybe have somebody's cell phone number, but if you don't know them, they don't know you. Um, I don't typically reach out to those people that way, which is the best way to get a hold of people these days. But unless you have a connection of reference, then I don't do that. And
Yeah.
maybe I text or something before I would call, or yeah, it's just being respectful of people's time.
What about the work ethic part of the job of working with executives, just generally networking? Like, how do you view the work part, making sure that you're scheduling enough uh, lunches with people or going to events where you might bump into people? How much does that play into your view of networking?
Yeah. I mean, to me, the best networking is face to face, right? Which in today's world has been difficult, but getting better. But you have to put yourself out there. And whether there's all kinds of networking events, whether it's coffee or happy hour or lunches, those things are, to me, I think are the most valuable because you can look somebody in the eye and vice versa. And that's to me is the best and easiest way to do it. But it's not always possible, but that's important. I mean, my kids they don't answer the phone, right? You text them, and you have to find alternative ways to get people's attention.
How often do you think you go to industry events? If you had to put a number on it, do you go to one a month? Are you going to 12 industry events a month? Are you going to one a week? Are you going to
Oh,
three a
well,
week? How would you?
yeah. I don't do as much as I used to, but definitely I would try to, 2 or 3 events. I mean, you can go to a Java user group. You can go to a data analytics user group. You can go to a cloud user group. You can go to all kinds of that are maybe more technically slanted. But I go because you get educated and you learn, and you meet people, and so I think that works out. Now I use LinkedIn. Sometimes I'll just send a connect. Other times I'll say that I'm a friend of a friend, or but I think in like you're doing podcasts, right? Um, you have to find alternative ways to get an audience, get people to listen to you, and build a brand and credibility. And I think really on LinkedIn, it's having messages, it's doing blogs. Um, you can't it's just not the standard send an email, send a phone call. You may never ever get a response back unless you can't be sending, PowerPoint presentations and, things of that message. It's basically, it's got to be, 1 or 2 sentences that's short, sweet, direct, that, they don't have time to sit and read all these. I mean, you imagine a CIO, how many emails they get? They get thousands of them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think if there
So,
was ever a time in my career when you could just send an email to someone you didn't know. I don't think that. I'm trying to
right,
think back. I don't think maybe back when it was the email was just starting, you could do that. I'm trying to
right,
remember back.
right.
It's been a while since that.
Yeah,
But
faxing over messages to people. Yeah, no,
but that we did a lot. We did a lot of in person. I think something that hasn't changed in our industry, probably in any industry, is in person. Show up. Showing up is 70% of it, and then being consistent, be yourself, and do what you say you're going to do. You're ahead of 98,
yeah,
99%
yeah.
of the competition at that time,
And being
at the
prepared,
point.
right? When you get there at these special events like a CIO event, you know who's going to be there, right? They're listed who's going to be there. And so I always do a little research, find something in common, right? You're trying to connect with people, whether it was a college or a previous work or people. So you have something that kind of breaks the ice and makes it easier to, have an open conversation. Um, I think is important to do that. So
Yeah, preparing, you're putting in the work, and I think that's again,
yeah,
you're
very
going
important.
from that pool of everybody to the pool of the 30%, maybe that takes 5 or 10 minutes to look online and
Yeah,
do some quick research so that
right,
you can walk in and not be
right.
everybody else. Well,
Especially at a
Bob,
big event, right? At a big event, there's all kinds of people coming their way. So, you have to make a difference so they remember that conversation, because, it's overwhelming.
I always carry a drink and I pretend I'm going to trip and I spill the drink on the person, and then they almost always remember me.
I'll have to put that in my repertoire. I haven't,
Try that. Try that the next time you are
yeah,
at an event with a Fortune 500 executive.
yeah,
Try
I
that one
haven't,
because they always
yeah, yeah.
remember you if you do that.
I haven't purposely done that, I don't think so.
Bob Anderson, you are the best or among the very best I've ever met at networking and business development. Thank you so much for your time. For everyone else out there, you are watching the Kelly Wendland Vodcast.
Thank you, Kelly. It means a lot to me for you to say that.